Ellie is the main protagonist of the Tomorrow series. When we first meet her, she is very trustworthy and mature, but she is also very experienced and very naive. However, when the war happens, that completely changes. She becomes very capable. She becomes the leader of the group for the majority of the novels. First, she goes through a deep moral struggle because she kills for her friends, but she wonders, is that right or wrong? As the war goes on, and especially after the death of some of her friends during the course of the war, she lets her rationality win over and very much becomes a darker and more confused person. However, she finds that empathy and love, even in the worst of situations, can, triumph. Now, in terms of the themes of love and war that Marston talks about in his novel, Ellie shows that right and wrong isn't as clear cut as you would think, because she kills out of love, not out of enjoyment or not on the orders of someone else. She does it to protect her friends and her family. It's also showing, love and life goes on even in war. She has a romance with one of the boys. She stays friends. She's always thinking about her family. And, in terms of the war themes, Ellie really proves that in the face of war, children are really capable of profound change and maturity. Fiona, or Fee, is the most gentle one of the group. She's the nice one of the group. She's the peacemaker. She is very naive, and even though in this war she does change, she does seemingly come out the least changed. She keeps that love even in the face of the worst parts of war. She really does have a toughness, though, that shows underneath. She isn't a leader. The one time she does try to lead, it leads directly to the capture of the group and, in result, Robyn's death. And after that, she never takes the leadership role again. In terms of a relationship, Ellie finds a lot of comfort in Fee and feels an emptiness inside of her, Ellie. But at the same time, Ellie provides leadership and inspiration to Fee. So they really do rely on each other. And despite, she is terrified throughout the whole war, but she keeps performing, she keeps going. She doesn't stand down from her perspective when others are losing theirs. In a way, I would say she is the bravest of the group because she is the most scared, so when she steps up, it takes more for her to do it than for other characters. She definitely connects more to the love themes of the novel. She does everything out of love. And she's not afraid to say that. She's not afraid to do it. She loves her friends and will do anything for them. Robyn is one of the main characters in the Tomorrow series as well. So she is the moral compass of the group. She's keeps a cool head under pressure. She's very much loving. Ellie sees her as the most noble and heroic of the group, which is debatable. I personally would agree with Ellie. So she is known as a church girl. She believes in God. However, she is no saint. She's human, she's young, and she doesn't like the war, and she constantly struggles with that through the war, because faith says, thou shalt not kill, etc. And although she refuses to directly kill people, she happily takes part in actions that will result in death in the long run. She definitely grows confused over right and wrong, and she questions herself constantly, and she really is at her best in the toughest of situations. And to last, she would be the most heroic of the eight. She actually dies in the third book. She sacrifices her life to save her friends. However, as Ellie says, one of my favorite quotes from the books is in the third book, I never stopped thinking about Robyn. I used to think heroes were tough and brave, but that last look on Robyn's face, it wasn't tough or brave. It was scared and uncertain, which shows, even in the toughest of situations, she was brave, but no one is perfect. She definitely was the moral compass of the group, and after her death, it affected the group. In terms of how it connects to the theme, she specifically connects to the war themes. She has a correcting view of morality, and it just shows that right and wrong isn't always as clear-cut as you would expect. And it really does show Marston's primary argument, which is basically that right and wrong don't apply during war. Lee is quiet and shy, sheltered and privileged before the war, and after that he really comes to. So I've talked about how other characters started off being emotional and thinking about it and then became rational. However, he started off as rational to begin with, and once he found out that his parents had both been killed, he threw away that rationality and just went very dark, wanted to kill people as often as possible. No one could really recognize him at all. He keeps his emotions really bottled up inside, which is where all that darkness and lashing out really came from. He does know that it's happening to him, though. He is frightened by it, which he brings up. However, he isn't so much just angrily aggressive as he is suicidally aggressive. He doesn't want to see the end of the war because he's afraid of what he has to face afterwards. And, that shame he feels for what happened in the war, it turns into hatred. It's just this very unhealthy cycle. And, connecting this back to the themes of war, it really just goes to show that anyone can do anything, if that's the right word. Everyone's capable of going down a dark side, but they can be brought back with love, like Lee's love for Ellie.